Hi guys, the Metal Maniac back again, and in this video I'm going to be doing a review on the album The Eye by King Diamond. I believe this is their fifth album. I believe this is their fifth album, 1990, and so yeah. So first, before I get into the songs, I'm going to name off the band members really quick. King Diamond on vocals, Andy LaRocque on guitar, Pete Black on guitar, uh, Gail Bantino on bass, and these stupid. Some of these are hard to read because of the font they use. As you can see there. Hold on, actually, give me a second. Oh, there we go. Let me try that again. The font here is extremely hard to read. Luckily, they have the band members on here. Anyway, let's try this again. Hale Patino on bass, Andy LaRocque on guitar, King Diamond on vocals, Pete Black on guitar, and Snowy Shaw on drums. Hold on, let me get this back in here. There we go. Okay. Wait. Sorry, wasn't in all the way. Anyway, so the album starts off with the kind of title track, The Eye of the Witch. Yeah, even though the album is just called The Eye, the quote-unquote title track is called The Eye of the Witch. I know, it's almost similar to, I mean, it is very similar to the album, the Iron Maiden album Somewhere in Time, where the title track, the quote-unquote title track, isn't really the same, where the album is, Somewhere in Time, but the title track is Caught Somewhere in Time. Actually, now that I think about it, it's also like symbolic, where the song is symbolic, the album is symbolic, yet the song and title track were originally called Symbolic Acts. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting really off track here. Anyway, yeah, so the album starts off with the song The Eye, or The Eye of the Witch. It's a very, very good album opener. Very atmospheric, very moody. It has this really cool, catchy, and heavy guitar riff throughout the entirety of the song. Really good solo too. King Diamond's vocals are as great as always. Um, Also, this is a concept album as well as majority of other King Diamond albums, but because of how long the explanation of what the story is, how long that takes, I'll tell what this is about at the very end. Anyway, but yeah, The Eye, or The Eye of the Witch, as the actual track is called, very good and just a fantastic way to open the album. The next song is called The Trial, Chamber. Again, this stupid. I really wish they didn't use this font because it's kind of hard to read with certain words. But I'll just say, because I can't read the rest of that, I'll just call it The Trial. But this one is okay. It's not bad, but it is kind of dull, generic sounding in terms of a King Diamond song. The next one is called Burn. Again, kind of generic sounding. The fourth track, Two Little Girls, are very eerie, very almost. It has a very sort of eerie, but also weird sort of playfulness to it, which really matches what's going on in this song. Just very creepy, just events going on. But yeah, very good song. The next track is called Into the Convent. another great song. A little bit more of an epic kind of sounding song. But yeah, it's very good, very memorable. The just a super catchy chorus, followed up by great guitar riff and solo, and then King Diamond's vocals. I mean, he never has had any bad vocal performance, in my opinion. But yeah, just really good song as well. The next track is called Far- Father Brand. Father Brand. Sorry again. The stupid. I hate the font they used. It's very hard to read it, as you can see. Um, they use this really weird old English font that just is hard to read at times. Anyway, the track Father Brand, it's okay. Anyway, the next track is called Behind These Walls. Probably my second favorite song on the album besides Eye of the Witch. Just a very, very, very good. This is probably the most epic sounding song on the entire album. It is just a very sort of grand, sort of, just epic, but also really cool, catchy feel to it. Um, but yeah, it's a fantastic song, one of the best on the album. The next track is called The Meetings. Another great song. Not as epic as the one before, but it's still very, very, very good. Also, going back to the song Behind the Walls, it has, in my opinion, one of the best guitar solos I've ever heard. It's just super good. Like, it's top tier. Like, almost like alongside, the guitar solo from Painkiller, or the guitar solo from See You in Hell, or even the guitar solo from Killers. Just one of the best guitar solos I've ever heard, and in my opinion, now is up there in my absolute favorites. But yeah, anyway, getting back to the next song after that, The Meetings. Fantastic song. Awesome. I absolutely love it. The next song is called Insanity. This is an instrumental, and it's okay. Um, Honestly, I do prefer the instrumental on the album that was before this called Conspiracy. But yeah, it's an okay instrumental. The next track is called 1642 Imprisonment. This one's just okay as well. I don't mind it. It's not bad, but it's not that memorable. And then the last song is called The Curse. This one's also okay. Um, so before I get into my overall thoughts, I should, just a brief synopsis on the story of this concept album. Um, anyway, so the story is actually based, like, for the most part, on true events of of stuff that happened during the French Inquisition. Basically, kind of like what happened here in America back in the 1700s. Of the the witch trials and stuff. That's kind of but this is sort of what happened with the witch trials over in France during the Inquisition. Um, so the story starts off with there's this woman that's accused of being a witch. She has this sort of magical necklace, this amulet called the Eye, which is the thing on the cover here. And the Eye basically has the power to let the wearer see into the past. Uh, um, but yeah, so this woman is accused of being a witch, and the second song on the album is when she's put on trial and found guilty. Even though there's not really in the song, it's suggested that they didn't really even have any evidence. They just kind of bullshitted their way into convincing the people in charge to convict her as a witch. And then the track after that is called, the obvious what's going on. The track after that's called Burn. Basically, that's where, she gets burned at the stake. The next track, Two Little Girls. Basically, this track is, I guess, hours or maybe even a day after she gets burned at the stake, and she, nothing's left, just a pile of ashes and then the amulet that fell off her neck during the burning. And then these two little girls sort of like start playing with the ashes. It's hinted that they didn't even know what happened. They weren't really there, so they're kind of like curious about why there's just a whole big pile of ashes there. And then they find the amulet, the eye, and this is where kind of all hell breaks loose. And they look into the eye, the actual like eye here in the amulet, and it kills them. At this point, it's kind of hinted. Not it's kind of like you could kind of tell that it may be like Thor's hammer, where it chooses who's worthy and who's not. And unlike Thor's hammer, the unworthy person who tries to mess with it dies. Anyway, but yeah, and then after that, into the convent follows a separate character who kinda is the main character after the supposed main character gets burned at the stake. Um, but yeah, and then later on, the in the song, Father Bernard just sort of like is the part of the story where it shows how just absolutely insane this guy is. If I'm not mistaken, it's the same guy who first accused the other person of being a witch. And just insane chaos goes on. People, just are basically having a very bad time here. And then behind the walls is basically him just using his. Behind the walls is where the story is, where the priest guy or reverend or whatever he is sort of using his influence to, basically sort of just, not brainwash, but sort of like convince people to do his bidding. Just a very manipulative, just downright crazed individual. Um, and then the song "The Meetings" is kind of a follow up to the events of the song before it. 1642 imprisonment is the part where uh, most of the people involved of the falsely accused uh, uh, person who got burned at the stake are imprisoned, and then there's also some people that were thrown in there that weren't really part of it, but were thought to be part of it, even though they weren't. Um, and then the end song, "The Curse," is basically, I believe it's the same guy, the main villain, who gets hold of the amulet, the eye, and for whatever reason, the eye chooses him to be the worthy one, and he could see into the past and stuff, and that's kind of where the album ends and the story ends. Now, it's interesting because this story is 98-ish% true. It's based on stuff. I don't know if I said this, but it is legitimately based on stuff from the French Inquisition. And I say 98% true because there are, fictional elements in it, such as legitimate magic, supernatural stuff happening, and of course the amulet, which never existed. But like the trials and stuff, and for the most part, what happened did actually happen. But yeah, so my overall thoughts: a very, very good story. Honestly, I haven't, sort of, gotten into any of the stories of the last two albums before this, Them and, Conspiracy, mainly because they felt sort of dry and stale, almost like, not that they were inherently boring, they were interesting, but just the way the stories on those other two albums were presented is just kind of meh. Um, but the story on here is a fantastic story, a kind of just very immersive sort of a journey, kind of like with the album Abigail, just a whole very good, very well set up, very just compelling story. That's kind of like what's with this one. Um, so overall, I'm gonna rate this probably. Overall, I would have rated this only a 7 out of 10. Mainly because there's certain songs that aren't that memorable, but there are again other songs that are. But even with that, the thing I really, really like about this album is the story, and that cranks it up from just a 7 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10. Yes, there's some really, really good songs on here. Sort of a mixed bag of meh songs and great songs. But the thing I love most about this album is the story and how it's, for the most part, actually based off of events that happened in American history, or not American history, sorry, French history. Um, but yeah, just a really, really good story, great instrumentation, and for the most part, some really great songs. And then again, King's Diamond's vocals are great as always. But yeah, it's a 8 out of 10 for me. So yeah, that's about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.